Have you ever stood in your kitchen, looking at the same ingredients you've cooked with for years, and wondered, is this still good for me? Or maybe you've heard about so many foods being linked to cancer lately, it's left you thinking, well, what can I even eat anymore? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Here's the truth. By the time we hit our 60s and beyond, we've fed families, hosted holidays, comforted grandkids with warm meals, and cooked thousands of dinners. But here's something many of us forget: we can still learn new tricks in the kitchen, and sometimes those small changes might just help us live longer and feel better doing it. Now, I'm not here to scare you or make you toss out your entire pantry. This isn't about going on a trendy diet or eating like a rabbit. This is about making smart, simple tweaks to how we prepare our meals, tweaks that researchers say may actually reduce our risk of cancer. Yes, you heard that right. How you cook just as much as what you cook can make a big difference. So today, we're going to talk about some incredibly doable cooking habits. Nothing fancy, no chef hats required, just practical, senior-friendly ways to help your body stay strong and lower your risk for things like colon, breast, or prostate cancer. Ready? Great. Let's get into it. Let's begin with something as basic as how you brown your food. You know that nice crust you get when you sear meat or toast bread until it's golden and crisp? It's satisfying, for sure. But here's the thing. When foods like meat, bread, or even potatoes are cooked at high heat until they're very brown, especially fried or grilled, they can produce substances called heterocyclic amines and acrylamides. Bit of a mouthful, I know, but they're linked to changes in our DNA that may raise cancer risk over time. Now, this doesn't mean you can never enjoy a grilled steak or crispy toast again. Life's too short to never treat yourself. But maybe instead of cooking on high heat all the time, you try lower, gentler methods more often, like steaming, baking, or even using a slow cooker. These methods not only preserve nutrients better, but they also reduce those harmful compounds that form from charring or deep frying. For instance, if you love your morning toast, just aim for a light golden color instead of dark brown or blackened. And that pan-seared pork chop? Try baking it slowly in the oven with some garlic and rosemary instead. You'll still get rich flavor, but with less risk attached. Next, let's talk about something many of us have sitting right on our stovetop: oil. We've been told so many things about fats. Don't eat fat. Eat good fat. Use olive oil. Avoid butter. It's hard to keep up. But here's a simple tip that can go a long way. Use the right oil for the right job. When oils are heated past their smoke point, that's the temperature where they start to break down and smoke, they release harmful compounds, including free radicals that can damage cells and contribute to cancer over time. And unfortunately, many people use the wrong oil when cooking on high heat. So here's what you can do. For high heat cooking like stir frying or roasting, use oils that are more stable, like avocado oil or refined coconut oil. For low heat cooking, or better yet, for drizzling on top of finished dishes, olive oil is still a great choice. It's rich in antioxidants, especially extra virgin olive oil, and has been linked to lower risks of cancer, heart disease, and even memory loss. If your bottle of oil has been sitting open on the counter for months, you might want to check it. Oils can oxidize over time, especially if exposed to heat and light. Rancid oil doesn't just taste bad, it can actually do harm. A good rule of thumb is to store oils in a cool, dark place and try to use them within a couple of months after opening. Another simple yet powerful shift: add more color to your cooking, not just for beauty, but for protection. Brightly colored fruits and vegetables are rich in compounds called phytonutrients. Think tomatoes, spinach, carrots, red peppers, berries, and even purple cabbage. These foods aren't just eye candy. They contain antioxidants that help your body repair itself and fight off the damage that can lead to cancer over time. So next time you're making a soup, a stir-fry, or even a sandwich, ask yourself, where's the color? Adding chopped kale to your eggs, tossing bell peppers into your pasta, or blending blueberries into your yogurt, these are tiny actions that add up to big impact. And here's a tip I love sharing with friends. Keep pre-chopped veggies in the fridge in clear containers. You're much more likely to throw them into a dish if they're ready to go and staring you in the face. No need to peel, dice, and clean every single time you cook. Work smarter, not harder. Now, let's chat about seasoning. Many of us grew up believing that flavor comes from butter, salt, and maybe a bouillon cube or two. But some of the best flavor and cancer-fighting power comes from herbs and spices. Garlic, turmeric, ginger, oregano, parsley, cinnamon, these aren't just delicious, they're little warriors. Take garlic, for example. When you crush or chop fresh garlic and let it sit for about 10 minutes before cooking, it activates compounds like allicin, which studies show may help prevent cancer by blocking certain cell changes. Turmeric, especially when paired with a little black pepper, contains curcumin, a compound that's been studied for its ability to slow cancer cell growth. You don't have to turn your kitchen into a science lab. Just try keeping a small rack of herbs and spices within reach. A sprinkle here, a pinch there, and you're not only making your food more flavorful, you're giving your body tools to defend itself. That's the beauty of these cooking habits. They're not drastic. They don't require you to give up your favorite meals or live on smoothies and salads. Instead, they offer a gentle shift, one that respects your love for food while honoring your body's needs as you age. And speaking of gentle shifts, there's another ingredient swap that's both satisfying and surprisingly helpful for lowering cancer risk. Let's move from there. We were just about to talk about one of the simplest yet most powerful changes you can make in your cooking, swapping out processed meats for cleaner, plant-forward options. Now I get it. Bacon with eggs, cold cuts in sandwiches, a grilled sausage at a family cookout. These aren't just foods, they're tied to memories, habits, even comfort. But here's the tough part. Processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, ham, and salami have been strongly linked by health experts to a higher risk of certain cancers, especially colorectal cancer. That doesn't mean you have to give up everything you love. Life should still be delicious. But what if, once or twice a week, you swap that ham sandwich for a hearty lentil or chickpea spread? What if taco night became black bean taco night? Or instead of sausage for breakfast, you tried sautéed mushrooms with garlic and rosemary on toast? These small swaps don't have to feel like a sacrifice. In fact, they can open the door to new textures and flavors you might not have tried in years, maybe ever. And plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, tofu, and tempeh aren't just cancer smart, they're also great for your heart, your digestion, and even your wallet. It's also worth thinking about what goes with the meat. If you're enjoying a roast chicken or a beef stew, pair it with double the veggies you normally would. Crowd your plate with color. Make roasted carrots, garlic green beans, or a tomato cucumber salad. The star of the meal, with meat playing more of a supporting role. It's not about taking away, it's about adding more of the good stuff. And speaking of adding more good stuff, let's talk about fiber. Now, I know, fiber isn't exactly the most glamorous topic, but trust me, it's a quiet hero. especially when it comes to reducing your cancer risk. A high-fiber diet helps keep things moving in your digestive system, and that's important. When waste sits too long, it can create a toxic environment that affects colon health. So where do you get more fiber? It's not just about bran flakes and prunes anymore, though both have their place. Think whole grains like oats, brown rice, and quinoa. Think fruits with skins like apples and pears. Think chia seeds, nuts, and loads of vegetables. And the best part? You don't have to overhaul your diet overnight. Let's say you usually cook white rice. Try mixing half white, half brown. Love spaghetti? Use whole grain pasta, or even lentil or chickpea pasta for a protein boost. And when you make soup, throw in some barley or lentils. They'll thicken it up, make it heartier, and give you that fiber without changing the flavor much at all. Sometimes, the resistance to change isn't about the food itself, it's about energy. You might be thinking, cooking like this sounds good, but I'm tired. My hands don't work the way they used to. I just want something easy. I hear you. And I promise, this doesn't have to be complicated. One of the best tools you can use, especially if chopping and standing for long periods is tough, is a slow cooker. You can toss in beans, chopped carrots, onions, garlic, broth, and a handful of greens. Set it, forget it, and by dinner time, you've got a pot full of fiber, flavor, and healing nutrients with almost no effort. Bonus? It smells amazing all day. Or let's say mornings are a tough time. You want to eat something healthy, but it's just easier to grab a pastry or skip it altogether. Why not prep a few jars of overnight oats? You can add cinnamon, chopped apples, flax seeds, and a touch of honey. Pop them in the fridge, and they're ready to go every morning. No stove, no fuss. Just spoon and enjoy. Another trick that's worked for many of my friends is the double batch method. If you're making something that freezes well like soup, chili, or even veggie curry, make a little extra and freeze it in small portions. On a tired night, all you have to do is reheat and enjoy, knowing you're still doing something good for your body. Here's something else I want you to remember. Food is more than just nutrition. It's love. It's culture. It's history. If you've been making your mother's chicken stew for 50 years, don't stop now. But maybe you use skinless chicken. Maybe you add more carrots and fewer potatoes. Maybe you saute with a splash of broth instead of butter. These are not sacrifices, they're gentle updates, like refreshing a room you've always loved. And these updates can become habits. And habits become powerful when we do them day in and day out. One new choice, one new dish, one new way of thinking about food, it's all a step toward protecting your body, supporting your energy, and giving yourself more healthy, vibrant years to do the things you love. Maybe that's more walks with your grandkids. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's dancing in the living room to music that reminds you of your youth. Whatever it is, your health is your ticket to keep doing it. Let's take a moment to think about what's in your fridge right now. Is it filled with sauces and condiments you've had for months, maybe even years? Bottles with long names, hidden sugars, and preservatives that are tough to pronounce? Here's something worth knowing. Many store-bought sauces and dressings are sneaky little culprits when it comes to inflammation, which in turn has been linked to higher cancer risk. We're talking barbecue sauces, creamy dressings, even ketchup and marinades. They might look innocent, but inside, they often carry artificial additives, excess salt, and refined sugars, all things our bodies need far less of, especially as we age. But don't worry, you don't need to toss everything out and go bland. You just need to start simple. Try making your own dressings with olive oil, lemon juice, and a pinch of mustard. Blend avocado with garlic and lime for a creamy, heart-healthy dip. Use Greek yogurt instead of sour cream for a lighter twist with bonus probiotics. When you take back control over what's going into your sauces, you're not just improving the flavor, you're protecting your cells, your gut, and your energy levels. And it doesn't have to take more than 5 minutes. Another powerful shift? Reducing ultra-processed foods. Now, I know you've heard this term before, ultra-processed. But what does it really mean? It means food that's gone so far from its natural form that your body barely recognizes it. Think instant noodles, frozen pizzas, packaged snack cakes, or sugary breakfast cereals. They may be convenient, but they often contain synthetic additives, preservatives, and industrial oils that have been shown to increase the risk of cancer, especially with regular consumption. So what's the alternative? You don't need to cook everything from scratch, but try leaning into what your grandparents might have eaten: whole foods, simply prepared. A baked sweet potato, a warm bowl of rice and beans, steamed greens with garlic, a piece of grilled fish with lemon. These are comforting, familiar, and packed with the kind of nutrition your body understands and thrives on. And you don't have to do this alone. If you have a partner, a neighbor, or even a grandchild who loves to help, invite them in. Cooking together adds connection to the process. Sharing a meal, even something as simple as soup and toast, becomes a nourishing moment, not just for your body, but for your soul. Let me tell you something I've seen over and over again in people I admire: the ones who stay active, joyful, and strong well into their 80s and 90s. They don't eat perfect. They don't count calories or follow strict rules. But they cook more often than they order in. They fill their plates with colorful foods. They flavor meals with herbs and love. And they eat slowly, enjoying every bite, not rushing through meals like a task on a checklist. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. And if there's one more thing I'd love to remind you of, it's this: your kitchen doesn't need to be a place of stress. It can be a place of healing, a space of quiet power, a place where you remind yourself daily that you still have control over your health, your choices, your joy. Now, let's talk hydration, because what you drink matters just as much as what you eat. Many of us grew up drinking soda with meals or pouring ourselves a glass of juice thinking it was the healthy choice. But as we get older, those sugary drinks can cause more harm than good. They spike blood sugar, increase inflammation, and provide zero fiber too. Balance things out. What if you tried switching your usual beverage to something that actually supports your body's natural defenses? Water infused with lemon or cucumber. Herbal teas like green tea, which is rich in cancer-fighting catechins. Or even just plain water, enough of it. Did you know that staying well hydrated helps your cells flush out toxins and supports every major system in your body, including your digestive and immune systems, two of your first lines of defense against disease? Think of water as your silent ally. The more you drink, the better your body can do its job. And if water feels too plain, jazz it up. Add mint. Add slices of orange. Add frozen berries. Make it pretty. Make it something you look forward to drinking. Because the truth is, small pleasures like this, tiny daily wins, are what health is built on. You don't need to go on a juice cleanse. You don't need to buy expensive supplements. You just need to tune back into your body and your kitchen. Start paying attention to how food makes you feel, not just in your mouth, but in your energy, your mood, your sleep. And if all of this feels like a lot, here's my advice. Start with one thing. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water before every meal. Maybe it's replacing one processed snack with a handful of almonds. Maybe it's trying a new vegetable this week. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to begin. That, my friend, is the power of food. It's not just about avoiding disease, it's about choosing life again and again every time you pick up a spoon. So, what's your next step going to be? Will you try a new herb in your cooking? Will you make a slow cooker stew this week? Will you say goodbye to that half-empty bottle of sugary barbecue sauce in the fridge? You know, when we think about health in our later years, so many conversations revolve around what's wrong, what hurts, what's harder now, what we've lost. But I want to invite you to see things a little differently. Because standing in your kitchen with a cutting board and a saucepan and a little intention, you're not losing anything. You're reclaiming something. You're reclaiming the power to nourish yourself in a world that often pushes fast and processed at every turn. You're reclaiming your ability to take care of your body, not with harsh restrictions or fear, but with care, with kindness, with wisdom earned over decades. And that wisdom tells you something important, that small changes, made with love, often matter more than big ones made in fear. So maybe today, you choose to steam those veggies instead of fry them. Maybe you toss the old sauce packet and season your soup with garlic, turmeric, and thyme instead. Maybe you try a meatless chili this week and are surprised by how full and warm and satisfied you feel. That's the beauty of this journey. It's not about giving things up. It's about discovering new joys in the simplest of places. Like biting into a ripe tomato drizzled with olive oil and sea salt. Or watching your grandchild try one of your new healthy muffins and ask for seconds. Or waking up one morning feeling just a little lighter, a little more energized, because your body is finally getting what it needs. These aren't just tips on a list. They're steps. And each one brings you closer to a healthier, fuller life. Not just more years, but better ones. And if you're sitting there thinking, is it too late for me to start? I want to speak straight to your heart. No, it is not. It is never too late to start. Making better choices. Not at 60, not at 70, not even at 90. Your cells are always listening. Your body is always ready to respond to love, to nourishment, to care. And if you've already been making healthy changes, maybe you've cut back on processed foods, or you've started using herbs more often, or you've discovered how satisfying a bowl of lentils can be, then I want to say this. I'm proud of you. You're doing it. You're showing up for yourself in the most powerful way there is. So here's what I want you to take with you as we end this time together. Cooking isn't just a chore. It's an act of healing. The ingredients you choose aren't just food. They're messages to your body, messages that say, I care about you. The changes you make don't have to be big to be meaningful. One healthier habit at a time can build a life where you feel better, live longer, and have more energy to spend with the people and passions you love. And speaking of people, I'd love to hear from you. What's one cooking change you're thinking of trying after watching this video? Maybe it's a new way of seasoning, or swapping out a processed food, or trying a slow cooker recipe. Share it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this video gave you a little spark, if it made you feel more hopeful, more empowered, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel so we can keep having these heart-to-heart conversations about living your healthiest, happiest life after 60. Maybe even share this video with a friend, a neighbor, a sibling, someone who might be feeling lost in all the confusing health advice out there and just needs a kind voice reminding them, you've got this. Because you do. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final image. You, in your kitchen, a soft light coming through the window, the gentle sound of water simmering, the aroma of garlic and rosemary filling the air, a quiet sense of peace in knowing that with every stir of the spoon, every mindful choice, you are taking care of yourself not just today, but for all the beautiful days still to come. Here's to meals that heal, to habits that lift you up, and to the wonderful truth that it's never too late to feel vibrant, strong, and full of life.